All teams have to work together. It's kind of in the name. But teams that bond together work together better. Hey there, David Burkus here, organizational psychologist and author of 4 best-selling books on helping leaders and teams do their best work ever. Have you ever worked for a team of strangers or led a team of strangers? Not total strangers, obviously. You know each other because you work together, or at least you trade emails together. But what I mean is a team of people who just aren't interested in getting to know the rest of the team. They're just not interested in bonding together or taking a personal interest in each other's lives. And as a result, you probably felt it, the work suffers, your motivation suffers. We don't need our coworkers to be our family, but it would be nice if they cared every once in a while. And research backs this up. Teams that bond together work together better on a myriad of different ways that we can measure performance. And teams that keep being composed of just strangers, even though they might be able to say, yeah, I just focus in on the work, and so I'm not getting distracted by all these other personalities, teams that focus in on the work actually work together worse. There really is something to bonding a team together in order to make it perform. And in this episode, we're gonna talk about the ways you can get your team to bond. Whether you're the leader or just an influential team member, ways that you can get people to take a little bit more personal interest in each other, to understand each other better, and hence to work together better. Let's get started. So the first way to bond a team together is to help them find uncommon commonalities. Things that 2 or 3 members of the team have in common with each other that are actually uncommon to the rest of the team or to the whole organization. And I recognize that that actually sounds counterintuitive. Why would we want people to pair up if we're trying to get the whole team to bond? But what we know from the research is that uncommon commonalities, things that we can talk about because we have in common, maybe we love the same sports team, or we grew up in the same part of the country or part of the world, maybe we had the same major in college, maybe we're a fan of the same writer, whatever it is, those uncommon commonalities are the beginnings of friendships on a team. They're beginnings of 2 individuals spending additional time talking with each other outside of work or about non-work topics at work. They're the beginning of bonds on a team at a dyadic level, at a one-to-one level. And believe it or not, having a friend on the team gets you more bonded to the rest of the team. I mean, we know from a myriad of research, from Gallup and other places, that having a best friend at work is a huge performance and engagement driver. But it turns out having a friend on a team still makes you feel more connected to that entire team. Now, how do you go about helping people find uncommon commonalities? Well, it's really easy. You do nothing at all. Okay, not really nothing at all, but what you do is you make time for people to do nothing at all. Maybe that's make time for people to do non-work related activities. So that can be deliberately planning events like, happy hours after work, or planning a specific lunch. That could be catering in food once a week or once a month, etc., so that people are eating together and then talking about non-work topics. But it can also be little things as well. It can be things like, telling a few people you're running early for a meeting and you'll be in the meeting room if anybody wants to come down and just chat and hang out. It can be invitations for self-disclosure during meetings through things like icebreakers. I know, I used to find icebreakers super cringy too. But the truth is, as people self-disclose to the level that they're comfortable, they make it more likely that other people on the team are gonna find something in common with that person, and hence uncommon commonalities. It's not about recommendatory fun, like let's all go do a ropes course or let's all play laser tag. It's about finding opportunities to have non-work discussions and hence talk about the other areas of our life so that we find those uncommon commonalities. The second way to bond teams together is through regular rituals, commonly held expressions, acronyms, things like that, things that we do as a routine basis specific to our team that become sort of inside jokes. They don't have to be funny, but insider information. If you know this ritual, it's because you're a part of the team. And there are a variety of different rituals that we see in all sorts of thriving teams. I'll use a couple sports analogies just for an example. The San Antonio Spurs, pretty solid winning franchise of players that are bonded together, use the ritual or the symbol of pounding the rock. It takes the whole metaphor of how a stone cutter has to pound into stone again and again and again before it breaks. Every practice is seen as a pounding the rock ritual. And they use that phrase. They say it to each other as a ritual: pound the stone, pound the rock. And even in their practice gymnasium, as they walk through to the courts, you know what they see? They see a gigantic rock and a sledgehammer. The New Zealand All Blacks, one of those winning rugby teams of all time, they use the phrase leaving the jersey in a better place. And they use the symbology, the common repetitiveness of the phrase leave the jersey in a better place Because once you're a member of the team, you understand what that means. And as a result, you feel more like an insider. And yes, this does mean that when you do the ritual around people who are not on your team, they're going to feel like outsiders. So use rituals carefully. But anytime there's an inside joke, a past shared experience, a new acronym, something that you can do that only people on your team understand, you send the subtle message that you're a part of this because you get it and other people don't. And in doing so, you bond the people who get it together a little bit more. The third way teams bond together is shared pain. Yeah, I know this one sounds weird, but this has been a really interesting series of research around how going through traumatic or painful experiences together can bond a total group of strangers together faster than not going through it. And they do this in a variety of forms. Some of it is talking about past pains and past traumatic experiences. Others is actual physical pain. One study that I'm really not sure of the ethics of asked certain groups of people to stick their hand into a tub of cold water for as long as they could, as painfully as they could, and then pull it out, and then found that the people who had to go through that and then enter into a new activity bonded together better than the people who skipped that step. Now, what I'm not suggesting here is that you take your team into this sort of, I guess, a new version of the ice bucket challenge, where instead of dumping it on yourself, you're sticking your hand, your leg, or your whole body in it just to experience pain. But what I mean is that you can talk about some of those painful past experiences in a way that reminds people that we got through adversity together. Remember that time we had to get takeout and work for almost 72 hours straight in order to deliver the project for the client? Yeah, I know it was awful at the time, but man, we really did some great work in that time. Yeah, I'm not talking about spinning the pain into something positive, but I am talking about reflecting back in front of your team out loud multiple times about how some of those shared experiences that were painful in the moment actually did bring us together. So maybe it's not sharing the pain with your team, but it's reminding the team of the pain that they've been through in the past, of the problems that they faced in the past. And as they collectively remember that, it becomes almost, remembering the pain becomes a ritual that bonds them together faster. And the fourth way teams bond together is through pro-social purpose. Not just purpose. I mean, we know that purpose is a huge driver of intrinsic motivation and also can bond people on a team. But the most powerful form of it is a pro-social version of purpose. In other words, who is served by the work that we do? Purpose is personal. And so when you help the team figure out who is served by the work that they do, not how we serve the larger mission statement, but specifically, how does the work we do go downstream and help customers or stakeholders or even just people inside of the team? If you can focus your team's energy on that, on who is served by the work that you do, you'll find that you're bonding them together far faster than teams that just have leaders who regurgitate the mission statement, or teams who just have leaders who just check in and make sure people are doing their work. Emphasizing not just purpose, but the who behind the purpose is one of the fastest and most potent ways to get people to work, to get people to understand why they work, and to get people to work together. Bonus points if serving that who is so large it requires interdependence. If you can show them the way that even just working together on a team makes them do better work that serves that person more, then you'll ensure that they are working together better moving forward as well. Help them find pro-social purpose. Purpose is personal. And on a team, when it gets personal, it means the team gets personal as well. What's interesting is what's not on this list. You know, this is not what you do in the email inbox or in the Slack channel. This is not about how the team holds each other accountable to the work. Those things are important, but those are not how a team bonds. And often as leaders, as managers, we focus in on making sure the team is doing the work instead of taking the time to make sure the team is working well together through these bonds. So this is going to require a little bit different investment of time. It's going to require an investment of time to do nothing at all and find uncommon commonalities. It's going to require some different thinking to find those rituals or to find past experiences that can be the pain. It might require a lot of thinking to find that who. And at first, that's going to seem like time wasted because you'd rather be making sure people are hitting their deadlines and people are staying under budget, etc. But that's the work of a manager, not the work of a leader. And your team needs you to be both. Leaders are the reason teams get bonded together. And in doing so, they make the manager's job easier because they work better together. So make the time, even if it seems like a waste of time, to help people find those personal commonalities and that personal purpose that bonds them together. Because if you do, you'll find that you've made an opportunity for your whole team to do their best work ever. Oh, and one more thing. No conversation about team bonds would be complete without a conversation about team culture. So you're gonna wanna check out this video here on how to build a positive team culture. I am positive you'll find even more insights on how to bond your team together if you check out this video here.